Caveman podcast. This episode is going to be Johnson City, 1990s to the early 2000s, largely paranormal. On today, my co-host is going to be Nikki, or Pebbles, as I have for this broadcast, and I am your host, Caveman. Pebbles, I'm going to let you kick it off. I have a lot of stories of my own, but we're talking about Johnson City, the 90s, the early 2000s. Tell me when this happened, and what do you have?
The best story I have was when I had that apartment on Ackley, but I was in my early 30s. So, if we're talking back then, there's so many things, but I was really young. If we're talking the 90s, 2000s, I was 8 to 18 then, right? Around that age? Yeah. Yes. Wow, that was young. Okay, so
I mean, you can throw later ones in there. I put that time frame because my experiences all happened around, I don't know, the age of like 10 to 12.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, you throw out whatever you have. Johnson City has been
JC is so much in JC. I don't know why. And like I said, it could be because, so many people that are buried across the street. I'm always over there because I live across the street now. But I used to live on the other side of Floral Park. And they're like the first apartment on Ackley Ave, not where King's Deli is, but right behind it, there's like a blue apartment on the second floor. And when I lived there, I had some crazy things happen there to the point where I literally moved out. Like within a week, like not a week, but within that week, I moved out because of all the paranormal activities that was going on there. And now that I live on the other side, where I'm actually right across from the cemetery, I never have anything like that happen where I live now, which is bizarre. But yeah, I used to a lot back then.
What happened at that apartment? Was that one specific incident, or?
Oh, there was a bunch of things that happened. It was one specific incident that made me run out of my shower, down the stairs, get in my car, and go to the gas station in my towel and throw up I was literally in the bathroom in the shower, and I leave the bathroom to go out into the hallway to throw up. Like I was right next to the I still to this day, I don't understand why I did that. But it was because I was taking a shower, and all of a sudden this arm wrapped around my neck. And I never talk about this because I was so paralyzed by it at the time. But now that it's been a good 20 years, I don't cry when I talk about that. But it was bad. There was a lot of incidents that happened in that apartment. And I ended up packing all my stuff and moving just because of that incident.
Let me say, when you're telling the story, just so you know, if you turn the volume down just a little bit, not because of us, but it comes through as a little. It cuts it out sometimes when you're talking.
Okay.
It was doing the same thing to me earlier because typically I'm a lot louder, but I guess somebody informed me. One of our people viewing here on Facebook informed me that I was loud to the point where Facebook couldn't record my voice. So
seriously? Wow.
Yeah, it's got like a decibel ceiling, and then it dampens it.
Yeah. So on Ackley, I had a lot of things happen over there. I had incidents where my dishes would fly out of the cupboards, and it was just really crazy. I have no idea to this day. I don't know what it was, but the boys were younger back then. They were little, and it was just me and Jay, I'm pretty sure back then. And it was like, I've had a ton of apartments in Johnson City. Since I was 16, I've lived on my own pretty much. And I've, always stayed in JC for the most part. Had a lot of apartments, but never one that was like that, not with incidents like that would happen. And, but let's go, I guess we'll go back to earlier. If that's the time frame you want to stay in, that's fine by me.
Oh, no. Like I said to people, I was trying to get stories from everybody. And I mean, I'll go back to one incident there. And I wanted to just take a look here at some of the comments. We had one person, Hendrix, mentioned growing up in the Valley line there, Tioga, Broome. The whole shit seemed creepy. I've known a few people. I know that, okay, for everybody listening, Nicole and I both grew up with another kid. We'll just use first names, Dominic. You know who I'm talking about.
Of course.
Yeah, he told me of something that happened, and it caught me off guard because it's something that I experienced. Now, we were all a few blocks from each other, and I don't know, this was, like I said, probably 93 maybe, because I was like 10 or 12. It was something around that. Now, tell me if you've ever seen anything like this in Johnson City. Now, this is where I've seen something. I'll tell you my story, and then I'll tell you his, because it ties right into it. But I was out in the street with my cousin Dave. I'll just give first names, and I think we're playing soccer, and we're facing my old apartment on Endicott Ave. But we're playing soccer, and I look up because I catch something out of the corner of my eye, and there's the saw blade like coming over the top of the houses, flying across the street behind the other houses. Have you ever seen like a big sawmill saw blade? The round has the curved back teeth, something like that. Relatively large. How large? I don't know because I couldn't tell how high it was. I would say maybe 400 feet above the trees, so a couple feet in diameter, maybe. And this thing, no sound or nothing. It didn't drop. It didn't gain altitude. It wasn't picking up speed or slowing down. It was the weirdest shit. And it was a clear day. I wasn't just seeing a saw blade. And I wasn't doing hallucinogenics until college. So this was. It just came over from behind me. And he saw this too. I don't try to get anyone to like confirm these stories because even the people that seen them in my life think I'm crazy, and I might be crazy. I don't know.
I think it's a little both.
Yeah, it is. There's a mixture of madness, but I swear this happened. This was a true recollection. Is it a true story?
Oh, I believe you. So. It's JC. I believe you. Or are you talking about the other?
No, just in general. But this story, yeah, it was the flat side down, so you're not looking at the teeth. You're looking at the flat side of the blade, so you can see the sides of it all. And this thing comes over the back of the houses, flies right over us, across the houses, above them, across the street, tracks beyond that, and disappears going over the factory that was beyond the houses. That was just, there was nothing else to it, but how does that happen? How does a saw blade propel itself? And it's not gaining speed or losing speed. It's not
have lights on it?
Nothing. Just
lights?
Just a saw blade. Like, that's why people are like, oh, I've never seen a UFO-shaped, saw blade-shaped UFO. I'm like, technically, yeah, it's a UFO because I can't identify it. Other than, maybe I can because it was a saw blade.
It was daytime?
So, it was the middle of the day. I mean, the sun was out, and I thought it was crazy. My whole life, I thought that was crazy. And then I talked to Dominic here 30-some years later, and he tells me about a story. He was maybe, I don't know, 2.5 blocks to the west of me, and he lived kind of nestled between 3 different factories that were, I think currently at the time, they were still Endicott Johnson factories. Yeah. And he's out in his backyard, I don't know, back then, probably doing BMX stuff or something. But, excuse me, laryngitis from podcasting. I apologize ahead of time to everybody listening on either Facebook or YouTube. If I sound prepubescent, I assure you I'm old and very hairy, so that's not it.
And I just apologize for my voice in general, so keep going.
Yeah, we are perfect for a podcast. One of us, sounds like a 14-year-old boy with laryngitis, and Nicole, you can come up with your own.
I thought you were talking about me.
No. God, if that was you, then I don't know what the hell I would be sounding like. But
you sound fine. You sound fine.
I hope so. I'm going to clean this up.
You don't sound much different than when you were younger.
Which is strange. Like, I don't look too different, other than I'm fatter, a little bit taller, and the hairy part that caught up to me. So I know that everyone listening is like, oh man, this guy sounds like a catch. No, I'm not. Anyways, he lived 2.5 blocks away. He's in his backyard. He's doing whatever 10-year-olds do with their bikes. And he set a saw blade. Now, same thing, the flat plane of the blade, normal sized blade, had jumped a fence. And we're going to get to these comments, guys. Just hang in there a minute. But this saw blade jumped a fence to one side of his property, like bounced into the lawn as it's spinning a few times, and then continued over the opposite fence in the backyard. Same with me, no interaction with him. Caught him off guard that out of nowhere a saw blade was just propelling itself across the yard.
He was living in the same area as you?
Yeah, his parents, well, they did. I think they don't live there now, but yeah, it was. Now, if you know where Endicott Ave is, if you walk straight across that to where the factories are, like I think they're Binghamton University housing now, along the railroad tracks, but if you're on those tracks and you turn left facing like Grand Avenue, facing up toward the graveyard, you can walk between 2 of those factories. And if you were to go right up over the wall, his house, his parents' house at the time, was right up over top of that.
Oh, okay.
So we were not far from each other at all. And that's where he experienced that. So I don't know if anybody's ever had a saw blade experience, but that's that. And Nicole, before I go back over to you here, I want to read off one comment, and I'm only going to use first names so everybody knows because, I don't know, not everybody wants to be called out, but one of our listeners, and I'm sure you probably know who this is, I do not, Lisa, mind you, this is public, so anybody can chime in too. We may not know everyone. It says that this is not JC, but I'm living in a 100-year-old, so probably a home, and it is one of the oldest homes in Oxford, and I swear it's haunted. It even looks like a haunted house. Well, I don't disbelieve you. I mean, there's plenty of, no, Lisa, I got you. I try to make it a good practice to just use first names because I don't want to be on here giving out everybody's middle and last name and social security number. Not everybody wants to be associated with a crazy old guy that thinks he was abducted by aliens. So on that note, Lisa's haunted house, and awesome. It is, and because we just talked about your haunted house. And I'm assuming, something must have happened. Now I will say back to your story, Nicole, that if something grabbed me while I was in the shower, obviously I'm not dressed because I'm in the shower typically, unless there's some weird shit going on. It's one of those weekends, but that's freaky. Like I don't know.
300 at the time. I just got in my car with a towel wrapped around me like to the gas station. I was that scared. I was freaking out. I threw up in my hallway, but I was already in the bathroom because I was in the shower. I don't understand why I did that, but I had a hard time talking about it for a long time, Kenny. Like I would cry when I would start talking about it. So this definitely happened to me. This was horrible. And I had an Annabelle doll that I got at the mall. It was like $100 doll, like one of those Annabelle dolls, and they kept moving from room to room to room. That's the only haunted house, I guess, if you want to call it that I used to live in. And I've had a lot of apartments in JC, but that one was crazy. That was bad. And I also think it's because I lived right by Full Cemetery, but I live closer there now than I did then. And I've lived here 4 years. I've never had anything happen here like that. And in the cemetery, I've seen some crazy stuff, but I'm just so used to that place now.
I don't know what I think that was like. I don't know what most people. If anybody wants to write that in, tell us what the hell would you do if you're in your shower and you feel somebody put you in a chokehold? I don't know.
I could laugh about it now, but I was laughing.
I'd like to make a joke and say I do something blah 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 that I probably can't say on the internet anyways. But I don't know if I would. No, I might freak out.
There's nothing fun about nobody being there. And getting choked in the shower.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. There's a time and place, people, that you may want to get choked in the shower. I'm just saying I'm not going into it.
Invisible.
Yeah, well, there might be a time for that too. That was not that time. It was not that time. Anyway,
I think I was barefoot too. I think I left the house barefoot too. And then I think a week later is when I just packed everything and moved. It was so freaky. And all my dishes, that was at the place. All my dishes fell out of not fell out, they flew out, and nobody was home. I was the only one there. So I know, it wasn't like a neighbor, like nobody. It was, and this was before cameras, really. Nobody had cameras like they do now. Everyone's got cameras now.
Yeah, every phone's going. Let me ask you this. Now, the house you're talking about, is that still standing? Is that an apartment?
Yes.
Is it a home? Is there somebody living there?
It was just like the place I live now. It was like a first and a second floor. So it's like that. It was like a house that was like half a house, kind of,
Yeah.
So it was like an apartment. I lived in an apartment too. It was second floor. So I lived in the second apartment.
Now, yeah. I'm assuming you don't know who currently lives there.
No.
I would still love to go. I'm the kind of person. I'm pretty.
No, I'm good with that. You can go back.
I will. I'm pretty straightforward. I would knock on the door, introduce myself, and be like, is your house haunted? What's that?
Any weird stuff going on here? Excuse me.
Yeah. Now,
knock on their door and ask.
Yeah, I would tell them legitimately. Like, I want to just. Well, I'd ask if their house was haunted, like you were saying. I lost you there for a minute because, like I said, if you go too loud, it cuts out. But yeah, if you let me know, don't give me the address on here, obviously. I would love to at least try to contact the people. I know how to find numbers based on addresses. So, yeah, there's ways. But that would be fun. I have so many people claim that the houses are haunted, and like, if that happened, like, I believe you. I'm just saying that a lot of people, they tell you these things, like, oh, something happened, the picture fell off my wall, like maybe the screw fell out, I don't know. But right. I wanna see it. Now, I've recently made a connection with a guy. You might find this interesting. Let me tell you this, because if you have some free time over the summer, you and whoever may want to take a fun trip. And it's not far. It's a couple hours. This guy that I was talking to, he's a quote-unquote paranormal investigator. He's on one of the previous podcasts. Larry, and he was saying that he investigates all these places in like central New York. It's up above the Finger Lakes, but south, of course, of Lake Ontario. Or, if it wasn't, you would be in the lake. That's not feasible. And haunted community centers and houses, historical sites, and they're all established. Him and this group of people that go and investigate these things. Now, I'm a skeptic of everything, regardless of my own experiences. So I don't want people to be deterred if they ever tell me anything, because I'm just a disbeliever by nature. But he said I can come up with a group of anybody that I would like, and they can be part of these investigations. I mean, if you want to grab some
That'd be so fun.
yeah, get a digital recorder, and we'll go hang out in a dark sub-basement of an abandoned hotel and wait for a demon to throw us around.
It's fun until something actually happens.
And I want something to happen. Like I told him, if one of these ghosts touch me, I don't know if it's going to be the furnace or the water heater or what, but someone's catching these hands. It's going to happen.
I've always been highly interested in this type of stuff and this topic as well. But then when I had the experience, like in all these experiences, it was not fun. So that's why I said it sounds like fun in theory. And then you get there and, I don't know.
It's just not fun anymore.
Like, I was paralyzed for 15 years. I could not talk about the incident. I was really freaked out by that. And I would throw up if I start talking about it. But once something does happen to you like that, it's not as easy to talk about until, enough time goes by and you're not as freaked out, I guess, anymore by it. But that does sound like fun. I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, they investigate various locations throughout these buildings and whatnot. And groups of two, they never send investigators out alone, which is a good practice.
That is good, yeah.
One person loses their head, somebody else is there. If they had a couple of goofballs like us in the same place, that might not be the most beneficial, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, witnesses too.
Yeah, that's what I said too to him. I'm like, you have another person to either verify or otherwise something that they may have seen. I'm going to go back to you on other stories because I don't want to dive into my big one yet, and I don't know who's going to continue to listen. It never shows me on my end. My story ultimately is unbelievable, and I mean that literally. And even you, Nicole, you can tell me like, hey, I don't believe that because I don't even know if I believe it, but I remember it. I remember it, and now you know what I'm talking about. We haven't said it yet, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Yes.
She does. Everybody, but all of you listening, which means the two of us, we know what I'm talking about so far. All right, now let's go back to one thing. You're talking about Freemasons in the graveyard. I will say there is a lot of Freemason symbolism throughout that place. So,
it's weird. No, I just think it's weird that when you're walking in there, because I walk, my dog sometimes in there, and I live right across the street. When you're walking through there, it just seems like every couple tombstones, there's a Freemason on one side and they're like a Wiccan symbol on the other side with a woman. So I'm like, and they all passed away early 1930s. Now you can see this for yourself if you want to. It's between the C section and the F section if you're walking through there. And there's just like 20 of them, right? And not in a row, but like as you're walking, like every couple that you see, there's like a Freemason on one side, a woman on the other side with a Wiccan symbol, and then it shows that they passed away at the same time. So I don't know if there was like something going on in the early 1930s in JC, but that could be a reason why it's such a hot spot for paranormal activity. I could be wrong, obviously, but that's just one of my theories. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I'm going to make a note and look that up. JC in the 1930s.
I can take pictures. I can show you. Some other time, obviously.
Right, pictures would help as far as like giving names that I can look up, but I want to look at
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would look into the genealogy, and I'm going to look up the 30s alone. If we're talking, this is what, pre-World War II, so I don't really know, what was going on. This is like post-Depression, pre-World War II. And when was Johnson City? Johnson City was, when was that founded? Wasn't that the late?
I used to know the answer to this.
Leicestershire, wasn't it like 1790?
Yeah, it was like Leicestershire it was in the 1900s when it was split between Endicott and JC, I want to say, though. Wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so. I mean,
hang on.
I'm going to put all kinds of links in this, too, if anybody's interested. If not, I don't know. Not everybody finds history fascinating, especially if it doesn't pertain to them. But if you're, from the southern tier, Broome County, Johnson City, this podcast is probably more so going to be interesting to you than somebody who's not.
It's September of 1892, but it says Village of Leicestershire. So that's 1916 is when it became Johnson City.
Okay.
So it was in the early 1900s. Yes.
Yep. See, and it goes back further because when it was settled was probably much earlier than that. I know where I am here in Tioga County, most of these villages were whatever they were originally. I don't know, but it was settled in the late 1700s.
1790, it says, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's
because
right.
Endicott and Johnson City put together, right? They were like the same, and then they split Endicott and JC. I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I think at one point, yeah. That I know. That I'm not sure. I've never really dug into that. There's just so much history here that I would love to do something specifically on that, but because in most places, I think we're at least here along the East Coast, we're settled in the late 1700s, early 1800s. Because you figure, what was it when they the Declaration of Independence, 1776? So
yeah, I think so.
I mean, thereafter they probably settlements and whatnot. But enough with the history, because that's not very
long ago,
you guys. Back in the 1700s, back when I first met Nicole.
Feels like that long. Feels like that long.
So we've got the creepy Freemason vibe going on in the graveyard.
Yeah, I'll get you pictures of them.
Then I'll put links to things and the house on Ackley, which sounds fascinating. I would love to go bother the current old couple. I assume that probably lives there. I'm totally serious with that. That would be great. And we got my story and Dominic's story of the two saw blades, which to this day I haven't found anybody that's ever had anything to add to that.
I only seen a triangular shaped thing back then in those days. It was like it had like red lights and green lights. Do you know what those cupcakes look like that are like Christmas little Debbie snacks? They're like white and they got like the green and red. That's what it looks like. And how else would you explain what that is? It was like white and it had like the green and the red and it looked like a Christmas tree shaped cupcake. That's all I can think of when I think about that. It was triangular, so it was just something that you don't see in the freaking sky. I mean, I don't know. It was interesting. But I was like 12 or 13 when I seen that.
Well, that's interesting because now I kind of know what you're talking about.
And I didn't look far from you.
Being an old fat diabetic, I know all about cupcakes. I've had too many cupcakes in my time. So yeah, I mean the triangular shaped craft thing. That's quite common. At least being reported. It's not common like there's one parked down at the deli or something. It's still, I don't know, you want to call it urban legend. I don't know. But I believe there's got to be something. Is it here? I don't know. Nobody knows. And if they tell you they do, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Now, do you want me to go into my story with you seeing something like that? Or do you have other things you want to branch off into?
I've got other things. One of the crazier things that happened to me was, was it? NJC, it wasn't Floral Cemetery, which is the one I talk about the most, but it was one I want to say it was in JC. You know how there's a building, I'm talking Floral though, there's a building and it's where you go to pay for like plots or whatever. There's like a little tiny little house type thing.
I know the type of place you're talking about, like an office for the...
Yes, it's an office, yes. Well, most cemeteries have one of those, and there's another one in JC, I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, that had one of those. And I've been a photoaholic my entire life. You know that about me. I love pictures, and I just love taking pictures. Now, back then, you didn't have, obviously, cell phones or cameras like you do now. And I had one of those Kodak cameras, those yellow ones that you would take to CVS, and you would have them.
I used to love them. I love them.
Yes, I had them everywhere, or all the time. And I was taking pictures in there one time, and I seen something in the window, so I took a picture. I just thought it was kind of spooky. And it was 7 o'clock at night, so it was getting close to being dark because it was probably springtime. And I don't know, I probably was like 15 or so, maybe 14. And then I noticed when I seen something in the reflection, there was no windows. It was all the windows were broken out. And so it was really like, you're not going to see a reflection in there. Then I get the film developed and the image was in the window, but there's no freaking glass in the windows. So that's crazy, right?
That is crazy. I didn't think you were going there with it. I was going to go with the whole pareidolia thing, but if there were no windows, that's a whole new layer.
When the film came out, though, it shows the silhouette and the shadow of a person in the window with the window in the window, but there were no windows when I took the picture. And then I went back after I got the 1 hour. I think it was when they first came out with the 1 hour developing of the pictures. I went back, and yes, there was no window. So I took another picture with a different camera, and then had that developed later on when I got my allowance or money to get it developed. And yeah, and to prove that there were no windows, and there wasn't. So I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to those pictures. Maybe my mom still got them. I could ask her. That'd be interesting.
That would be awesome. I mean, I will say on that, as now most people listening or that will listen may or probably don't know, I would say that I'm a freelance photographer. I do a lot of stuff for media and activities, committees, and chambers of commerce and private parties and stuff like that. But I still, once in a great while, I do some 35 millimeter film shooting. It's obsolete, but it's still fun. And you can get a lot of different artifacts and distortion and all sorts of stuff with film. But the likelihood of having something that's actually shaped as something that you can make out and it's perfectly placed, like you said, a person in a window, and, the chances are far less. But I would really love to see that. That would be, and that's believable. That's always been a creepy graveyard. I know for most people, graveyards are probably creepy. I've always kind of felt at peace when I'm in graveyards. I don't know.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. But the one in JC, it does have a little like tinge to it. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, it's a little tinge.
It definitely is.
Yeah, well, this one, it looked like there was a window because it looked like it could have been like my reflection, but there was no window. So that's the crazy part about it. Like, how are you going to see a silhouette into a window that's not there? Right.
Obviously, it would be something in the structure.
I should have set that story up different. Now that I'm talking, it's like, okay, apparently I'm good at talking, but not setting stories up. So I got to work on it. Should have told that differently.
I'm terrible at this too, and I have always wanted to do a podcast, and I've been working to get.
Me too.
I will say the problem, one of the main things, and I love this right now because people, if they want, can write in and we can interact. But Facebook itself, now for everybody listening, if you're hearing this on YouTube, we record the audio on Facebook so we can have comments and questions and whatever. Facebook is terrible. The audio compression is garbage. If you're doing, two people speaking, if not more, and it's all being put onto one vocal track, and then you add the compression on top of it. So when I do the editing for these things, I'm literally taking a dumpster fire and I just put the fire out a little bit and then I load it up to YouTube. So it's still a dumpster. It's just not flaming at that time. It's as good as it gets, until I do something different. But I keep doing it. I want after every podcast I do, after I'm done, I finish it and I listen to it and I'm like, I'm done doing this. I can't do this. But I keep doing it and eventually we'll get it right. This is probably not that time, but I'm going to keep going forward.
I just like doing it, but at the same time, I'm just so technology stupid. So I couldn't even get my headphones to work. I couldn't get the video to come on. It took us like 25 minutes just to start because I couldn't figure out how to get on. So I've never done a Facebook Live of any kind in my life. I've never done anything like this. So as much as I love to talk, and I've always been a talker, I don't know how to do anything technology-wise. So if you know how to do the technology part, I could talk forever. I just don't know how to set stories up apparently. So I got to work on that.
And that's a thing too. Like I'm getting better with the tech end of it all. As far as telling stories, now I was mentioning this to our friend Chris before. Telling stories, like there's so many great storytellers on YouTube. I watch the Y-Files. I can say that it's an established channel on YouTube, and the guy there, I can't remember his name, but great storyteller. There's so many that can do that. I'm not a good storyteller. My brain is even more ADHD than my mouth. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, mine too. I'll have to write stuff down and set up the stories how I want to do it first. I just went into this not even thinking. So I wasn't even thinking first. So
you just jumped out of the shower and grabbed your headphones. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's how we started it. So I'm right there with you. We're two people that are just all over the damn place, and maybe that's good. Maybe people will like this.
Yeah.
It's definitely not an AI voice. I hate listening to those things. And if people love AI, I'm not bashing it. Like obviously the picture that I have up, we all use AI. I just think when you try to substitute it for, I'm not the biggest fan. It has its place.
Gary looks as big as me. Like his head is bigger than mine in that photo.
I was going to say,
and he's a dog. He doesn't look like that in real life.
What's that dog's name? Your dog's name?
Gary.
Gary. Oh, that's awesome. You gave him a name.
I didn't name him. The person I got him from named him. He was named after the SpongeBob snail.
I think that's great. I mean, he looks like a Gary.
The whole litter was named after SpongeBob characters, and I didn't want to change it because that was the only thing that I wasn't changing in his life. Do you know what I mean? I got him a little over a year ago, and he was so tiny when I got him. I mean, that picture is a newer picture, so that was, not that long ago. But yeah, he looks bigger than me, and that's why, like, his head looks bigger than my head. There's no way in real life he looks like that. His head's like maybe a quarter of my size. My head.
Definitely a cute dog, and I will say, anybody listening. I don't know if I'm going to put this in the feed. Like, you'll see it on the screen you're watching it on. Maybe, maybe not. It will be in the links. I'll put some pictures like the one we're talking about where they made Nicole's dog Gary. They made his head as big as hers, and for some reason they gave me these like slouchy little like sissy boy shoulders. Like, I've got pretty broad shoulders. I'm kind of built like a 50s refrigerator. The small dorm size ones because I'm not very tall. But I've got shoulders. This dude, I don't know what he's doing. How's he holding his head up?
I love the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes came out good. I wish I could have just it's AI. The pictures that we tried to generate for this podcast, most of the ones for Nicole, I don't know what it is, but her image into AI continuously came up.
It's nothing like me.
Nothing. I mean, these
nothing like me.
Nothing. I mean, completely different girls. Some of them had no arm. She had her head missing in one of them. People were like, "Oh, AI is going to take over the world."
Smart. I know. I'm like, no, this looks nothing like me. I don't want to use that picture. It looks nothing like me.
Yeah, AI is going to take over the world. Try using it and then tell me how brilliant AI really is. Show me the intelligence part of artificial intelligence.
I know.
Before we jump into anything else, I want to cover one or two comments here. We have one from. I'm going to go back in the comments. There's not many, but there's more than usual. Brandy writes in, Freemasons were verified to be in the Binghamton area, especially in the Glenwood Binghamton employees, especially the Glenwood Binghamton employees. Yeah, I know there were a lot of right out in the open Freemason organizations not far, maybe right within Broome and Tioga County over the years. I'm almost 100% sure, like, they're not hiding. They're a real organization. Everybody knows about them.
I just find it weird that there were so many right in a row. It's not that it was weird that there was some in general. I just meant it was just weird that there were so many right in a row, all buried with a woman, all had Wiccan. So I was like, well, maybe that has something. I don't know why it was so paranormal activity was so crazy in JC, but I was like, well, maybe it's.
Yeah, it could have been one of those they all drank the Kool-Aid at the same time scenarios, and like the Wiccan aspect, I don't know. Here's another crazy thing, and I'll tell you because we probably differ on this, but. I've been a pagan for like 25 years. So, I mean, that I don't know, does that make me just as crazy as the UFO thing?
No, that's not why I said that. I just meant the chances of all of them being married to someone that also, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the chances of having 20 of them right in a row with a woman buried with them, you know what I'm saying? So that was the part, it's the coincidence part of it. And I don't do coincidences. I'm not really fond of coincidences. I don't believe in coincidence. I just don't. Man, if I was telling the story about the last couple of months of my life, this would be a far more interesting day.
Hey, but yeah, we're going to make a podcast.
No, I'm not talking about that. But yeah, it's just the whole spiritual awakening stuff. Yeah, everything that's been going on with me the past couple of months, I was in such a huge depression, and I didn't think I was ever going to get out of it. And it just took like one person that would like cared enough to pay attention to me for a minute, like, that pulled me out of it. And I don't even know this person. I've never even met this person. And just on Facebook. I might have seen him at Ben's thing, but yeah, I mean, this person's just a great person, and I never had anything like that happen to me before. I've never had anything happen that's happened to me the last 2 months happen to me, and that would be a crazy. I want to write a book about it, honestly. That's how crazy it was. In 43 years, nothing like that's ever happened to me. So it's just some crazy stuff. But I'd have to have his permission to talk about it. And I don't think he's going to be cool with that. But the situation, but I don't know. Maybe if I write a book, I could just change his name.
That's what I was going to say. When it comes to writing books, all you got to do is change their likeness.
Change his fucking name. Yeah. Yeah, because I want to tell the story because it was so crazy, and I just know it would be so fascinating to everyone to hear about it. I'm not going to tell it right now, but I mean, like, if we're doing a different topic, maybe some other time, and I have my thoughts lined up, unlike today, because I've never done anything like this. I mean, I've told stories and talked a lot. We've talked a lot. But I don't know how apparently to set a story up. So I guess I need to work on that.
And that's fine. That's kind of
I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, and I'm trying to branch out and do things I've always wanted to do that I've never done. And I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to write a book.
On that note, I'll tell you, I don't normally put this out there, but I was doing a podcast with Chris, and he kind of blew me up on this. My normal co-host, Chris Butters, if you will, I was talking about my experience, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he wrote a book." And yeah, I did write a short book on several different accounts of many things over the course of time growing up in Johnson City. Self-published it, self-binded.
Really?
Yeah, it's it's not
That's
as
great.
fascinating as, but I did, and I don't know. I mean, nothing much came of it. I try to still tell the story. I feel like nobody believes it when they do hear it, and most people never hear it. So, but a few people. I mean, I'm putting it out here again, and I don't know if by the time we get to it, I don't know if we even have anybody listening. It doesn't show me on my end. It never does. I don't know if it does on your end.
It says my friend Lisa's watching, my friend Dustin's watching. It says, but I mean, I don't know how long ago that it said that.
Yeah,
That's all I can see on my end.
You'd get a number up in maybe the top left, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me either.
Oh, it says 4 reviewing.
There might be for the 4 mystery people. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I would never know if someone didn't tell me. I usually
I'm doing this, and I will get better.
just keep shouting into the void. That's pretty much what we do here. Which sucks. We're gonna have to stop doing this on Facebook eventually. Like we are gonna.
I notice it's crackly.
It is. The audio. I don't know. I do know some sites that have lesser compression. I like YouTube create CapCut. I have a pro subscription to them. I know CapCut. I can do these things, and there are other calling apps, but I don't know if it's just me or they genuinely are a pain in the ass because I don't like using them. I find this pretty simple and straightforward. The other ones, they just irritate me.
It's simple. I couldn't even get on it. So simple. I couldn't even get on it. I didn't even know what I was doing.
We're going to do Flash. This will be great. It'll all come together. You wait till I edit it. You're going to love it. Let me say, before... So I'm assuming you have a lot more crazy stuff. A lot of stories?
No, not really.
Okay. I didn't want to... I didn't know how many others you had lined up. I know both of us go into this and we don't.
I had the glass window, the floral cemetery, Ackley Ave, and Annabelle written down. I only have 4 things written down. It was just those 4 incidents.
Well, that's good that you wrote 4 down. I just scribble down the podcast and the title, and half the time I don't even call them out right the first time, and then I just go on and we.
I realize I should set up my stories though. Yeah, I should set up like how I'm going to talk about things though, because I'm all over the place. But this is my first time doing it. Hopefully, I'll get better if I continue doing it with you.
It's fine. That may be the thing for this podcast, is we're not really. This isn't like people are going on to see a story on you. Like there are so many channels that do that. This is completely freeform. Like everybody's just. It's a conversation being recorded, and we're all over the place. But that happens to everybody. Do you want to hear my big story?
Yes, I do.
Oh God, I kind of hate this part, but I'll tell it. And if anybody wants to chime in, feel free to tell me I'm crazy because confirmation would be nice.
It's JC. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
Did it happen here?
Did it happened right in Johnson City, Endicott Avenue, 1992, 93.
Ooh, I was like 11.
Yep.
So I knew you then.
We both were. Yeah, that was back in the riding bicycle days. Now I
could only go to the VFW and back, and that's why I seen you all the time. I was only allowed to go to the corner and back. Then you lived right there, so that's why I would always see you, because I was riding my bike from the VFW to my mom's house.
I lived in a few places. I was a little hood rat though. I was everywhere. Little snot nosed hood kid. I was riding my bike everywhere I wasn't supposed to. It didn't matter. But I was on Endicott at the time. They were great. It was different. It
was a lot different. Yes.
I miss it. I really miss it. I wish we can go back to like the late 80s, early 90s, just a different time period. This world sucks right now.
I wouldn't even let Violet walk to the corner and back. I don't understand. Like, honestly, I don't know how parents, but I mean, you had to kind of, I mean, there wasn't technology like there is now. There wasn't, reasons to be in the house unless you're just playing with toys or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kids were always outside. We were always outside, always. Like, I don't remember a time we were not outside. We were always, and I love those memories that we have as children. I love that. Like, I feel bad that Violet did have friends that lived right next door, but they don't live there anymore. They moved. So she had like 4 friends that lived next door for years, and now they moved, so they don't live there anymore. And I kind of feel bad because she doesn't have anyone to play outside with anymore. That's really sad.
Yeah.
Because I loved having childhood friends, and riding bikes everywhere and getting in trouble. That was great.
It seemed to be a different world, especially in Johnson City. Like I said,
Well, talking too much was the only thing I ever really got in trouble for when I was younger. In school, anyway, just talking too much.
Oddly enough, I was quiet.
You were really quiet when you were little, yeah. You were.
Yeah, and now I don't shut up usually.
Not with me, because we were like BFFs, but like.
It's true. You were one of the few people I would talk to. Most people I pretty much kept to myself. I mean, until I met Chris, and then we kind of hit it off because he's as unstable as I am. But there were a handful, and I don't know. I guess the meat and potatoes to stay on track here. I get excited to tell the story, and then when it comes time to tell the story, I'm no longer excited about it, and I don't know why that is. Maybe I've told it so many times, or I don't know. But
I hope you can line up the story better than I've been doing. I tell the end of the story before I tell the beginning of the story. Like, wait a minute, I just gave that away.
Yeah,
I gotta work on that. It's a little foreshadowing. Yeah.
Mine was, like I said, 93. I was 10, 11 years old. This was Endicott Ave, Johnson City. I had my parents had a second floor apartment. I think I'm recalling all this correctly. My father's gone. He worked at a scrapyard when I was really young in the mornings, and then he'd work there in the evenings sometimes also doing security. Operator by day, security by night. So he was doing that.
Wow.
And my mom was, I don't know, she was probably at bingo. I don't know if that's still a thing, but she was playing bingo because it was the 90s.
I love bingo.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know what that is, look it up. It's terrible. Nicole loves it. I don't know.
Nicole loves it.
It was bingo. If you really like bingo, I don't know. My wife had went on a bingo casino trip once or something.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Maybe the two of you someday can meet up and go play bingo. I don't do bingo. I don't really.
I didn't know they still did it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lottery tickets.
But I'm up there in the apartment. Parents are gone. I have family, like my aunts live across the street. My uncle lives up the street, cousins, obviously. And my one cousin, I'm just going to leave his name right out of it because he's successful and thinks I'm crazy also. We're upstairs, and I've got this computer that I don't know if it's something my dad brought home or my mom bought. She worked for EJ's. And like I said, my dad was at a scrapyard, so I don't know. But it was an Apple computer. I remember that. It was in the living room, plugged in, and my cousin and I were playing with the computer, and it starts just scrolling. Now, this isn't uncommon, and this happens for all kind of reasons, but it starts scrolling these, like, just alphanumeric codes across the screen, like back when DOS prompt would go crazy, except I don't recall anything that caused it to do it. It was just flying across the screen, scrolling up fast as the lines were just kept feeding in. I remember him and I kind of freaking out. Do we break it? What's going on with this thing? Now, this part, I don't know. I remember pulling the plug on it, and this thing continued to do it for a short time. There's eerie feeling in the air. We kind of freaked out. We're young, mind you. We're not so young that we shouldn't be home alone because we're like 10, 11 years old. This is the 90s.
Yeah, this was the 90s, yes.
Yeah, back then we were driving our auntie's car, and playing at 10 o'clock at night. Like, it didn't matter. But he runs off. He runs off to the back of the house, and come to find out later, he hid in the back bedroom. For some reason, I'm compelled to go to the front window. Now, it's a second floor, and it's a weird house, so there's no front windows. And I'll put a picture of this because there's another small apartment ahead of us, but there is a little kitty corner that comes off of our apartment where you can diagonally look out the second floor window across the street, right? And I get behind this red recliner that we had, this maroon, which was the most popular color in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
Everything was maroon. I mean, it was crazy. And I'm behind it, and I'm looking out there, over the trees, above the houses, kind of across the street. I thought I saw a craft. I saw some kind of disc hovering there in the air. There was no noise. There's nobody else out. It was like 8-something at night, 8:20, I don't know, 8:30, and it's dark out. I don't see anybody else out there. I don't see anybody looking at it. There's no traffic going by, but I see this thing up in the air. How high was it? It didn't seem very far above the trees at all, so it wasn't huge. It was maybe the size of a couple cars put together, like 2 or 4 cars, like if you had to judge the
That's pretty big, though, for that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you hear all kind of stories, though. Some were the size of football fields, and some were the size of, drones. So this thing was just, I'm comparing it to 4 cars. I don't know. And this is all from memory. Obviously, I wasn't recording this back then. And I'm staring at this. Now, let me ask you before I go into this. So far, like, do you think I'm crazy? Be honest.
No, not at all.
Oh, I mean, I even think I'm crazy.
No, we're talking about Johnson City here.
If anybody's listening, can you at least verify that you think I'm crazy with this story? People on YouTube, if you're listening to this, I'm recording audio on Facebook. I'm reaching out to the theoretical people that may or may not be currently listening to verify if I'm crazy or not thus far in my story. So we'll see. I'll throw that in there if anybody writes. But I see the top of this thing kind of like a circular part in the center. It lifts up, and then it kind of turns off to the side like a hatch. So kind of like a reset hatch, or recessed. I mean, it's down in, it lifts, and then it folds over. And this, I mean, I even hate to say it. Like, you know how you see the gray aliens on, like, X-Files or something?
Yeah.
Something like that, but green. Like, not bright green, but like a dull, dusty kind of green. And thinner. You know, more humanoid in, like, the head shape and stuff, but it's this incandescent, dusty, just like, I don't know, weird kind of powder green. And it's like it comes up out of the hatch, maybe waist high, chest high, waist high. And I just remember locking eyes with it. And I was frozen, but I didn't feel afraid. I don't know what it was, but we locked eyes, and then within a blink, it was close to 9 o'clock, and I'm back in the center of the living room floor, taking a minute to catch my bearings. I don't know what had happened. You know, I kind of freak out. I shake things off. I look to the computer, like, that's off. I'm like, okay. I run over to the window. There's nothing there. And then I go to find my cousin, who, come to find out, was hiding in the back room under a bed. He has no idea what happened. He didn't see any of it because he was hiding, of course. And from that story, what happened from the time that I locked eyes to the time that I remember in the apartment was, I don't know, like I said, it had to have been a half hour, 45 minutes that I don't remember. And there's another part to this that comes later. Now, that was all of that. I had a hard time sleeping for a while, but it never felt, and this is a weird thing, people talk about, like, these experiences, and they're like, oh, the nightmares, I was terrified, blah, blah. Like, there was none of that. It was weird. It was kind of like it wasn't a bad experience.
Like a calmness came over you?
Yeah. Like
that seems like more of a legit thing then, like, honestly, because that's usually, I mean, because most of the time you don't get scared, not when it comes to UFOs anyway, at least not that I've read. I've seen one that looked like a, you know, you've seen Tom and Jerry, obviously, right? Here,
I have.
Remember the cheese blocks? That's what it looked like. It looked like one of those blocks of cheese, like on like the cartoon. That's what it looked like without the triangle cut out of it. It looked like one of those. I could have just been hungry because I love cheese. So, I mean,
I'm with you. I love cheese.
Right. I mean, yeah, I could have just been hungry. But yeah, I mean, I just remember being calm when I seen it, and it wasn't like that big of a deal. And like back then though, it was very common for people to see stuff like that. I don't know what it was back then, but yeah, it was very common. And this was Endicott Ave?
Yes.
This was on Endicott.
And then taking it to that whole other level that I saw what came out of it, and we locked eyes, like, so this wasn't very
all the experiences that we've been talking about happened right around the same few blocks. I don't find that coincidental at all.
No, and there was honestly, a large, because we're talking about a time when, I mean, the Gaudi was open, so there were freight trains that constantly went through there with coal. EJ's had, which was Endicott Johnson, and in the 90s in Johnson City, had factories all over the place. It was a big industrial time for that city. There was a lot going on, and a lot of history there, and a lot of people had weird encounters. Like I just told you about thinking I was abducted, which happened. I don't remember the time frame from the saw blade, but it wasn't too long. I don't know, maybe weeks, maybe a month. I can't remember the exact time frame being that far back, but that is one hell of an experience. And that's the thing, like, when we tell these stories on here, you can go watch a video and people can tell you their thing and put up an AI video, and I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't have any video of myself getting abducted. I wasn't like, hold on, bro, let me get the Kodak real quick.
This was the 90s, so that definitely didn't have cameras everywhere like you do now.
No, I remember in 2000 when Nokia came out with the brake pad, that giant phone that was indestructible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I got one of those.
Snake game on it?
Oh, I loved it. If I had one of those, that alien would have been in for it because I'd have been out there like they do now, the protesters. I'd be holding it up like, I'm filming you, just screaming at him. And he would have thought twice. I'll tell you, maybe not. But let me tell you this is the part about it that I don't, the experience itself should be enough to kind of solidify this in my mind. But this is the part that really gets me. And this is something that I've reached out to you questioning in the past. This is the good part. I have this memory. When I started remembering this, I don't know, but I still remember it. I remember around that time, because it was fourth grade, I don't even remember how I met this girl or anything up to the memory in question, but we're like 11 years old. This is my quote-unquote girlfriend, okay? Mind you, I'm 11. Her name was Shasta. Yeah, so I just, I don't want people thinking this was too serious. I don't know what 11-year-olds do on a date.
You just hold hands for 5 minutes and then you break up. That's what I can tell you. I had a lot of boyfriends back then. Yeah.
But I remember her. Like, I can see her face vividly. I remember this experience. We were
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember her.
It does, and she wasn't, which I'll get to the part about she wasn't in school, but we went to her house, which is around the corner from Endicott Ave. It was a house right out back of the old Handicapped Children's, which is across the street from the Great American.
The Lions Church thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when it was that, but no. You remember the Great American in Johnson City?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So if you leave the Great American and you go left and then you're going up Willow, I think it's up Willow towards the tracks, it would be the first house on the right.
Oh, that way. Okay. I thought you were talking about Baldwin. No.
No.
So it'd be Willow. No, one down.
Yeah, Baldwin's a few down from that. This was by the Great American. I mean, I don't know what else other than the Great American was a landmark. That was a grocery store.
They had the chicken drumsticks my brother and I would get every time we'd go there.
Food Club bread, Food Club cheese.
Yeah,
ballin',
it's great.
Ballin'. And
there was a dollar store after that.
Yeah, it was a lot of things. But I don't want to forget this. I went into the house. She took me into the kitchen, which was straight back to meet. It was just her father and her sister. Now, her sister was over my left shoulder, like kind of in the corner-ish. I passed her, and I'm next to her, and we're talking to her father. And the whole thing seems, like in the memory, it seems real. But I remember feeling like, I know this isn't quite right. And I couldn't pinpoint it. But he shows me a picture of the great tree, which there's one in California. I don't know. But they were talking about, they were from Mexico, something. She wasn't in the yearbook because she was homeschooled. They're going back home, which I found, that statement kind of, and you'll see how this ties in. And the whole time I'm feeling the sister over the shoulder. It's just a weird feeling, that not like it's not what it seems. Like you're in the Matrix kind of memory.
Like a vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. And the father's talking to me and we get through all this. She's walking me out. We go behind a recliner in her living room. Now this is weird because the recliner was the key point in the UFO experience where it started. So we go to the recliner in her living room. We're saying goodbye because we had no other place. I don't know. It's a memory. I'm 11, but
okay.
We do a little smooch thing behind the recliner, and then I remember walking to the door with her, and that was it. And everything in that memory, like I could get really into detail. It's all so clear, and I can still picture it. But I don't remember anything about her up to that point or after that point. And the only thing that really ties in is that it ended off behind the recliner, which was where it all started with the UFO story. Now, how this ties together is I feel that, was this something that the human brain does to protect you from a traumatic event?
I think so.
It could be. Was it something they implanted? So I didn't remember the actual event. They don't want you remembering what you did while you were there, so they gave you a false memory.
I have a lot of memories that are like that, where they start like a place, then end in a place, but I don't remember anything before it or after. I just remember in the moment. I don't know why. I don't know why our brains do that, honestly. But, I mean, if we were 11, you're talking about when we were 11, that was a long time ago. And the older you get, I think you just kind of lose bits and pieces and portions of your life. That's what I always thought. I mean, I could be wrong.
With some things. I mean, I don't know how this works for everybody, but there are memories where when I remember something, I typically remember all of it, but there's so many moments between those memories that I don't remember. Like my mind has chosen, okay, we're going to file this, this, and this. Everything else, kind of tuck it away. It wasn't anything notable. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's how it works for everyone, but that was my big experience. Like, I don't know how else to. I wasn't as enthusiastic telling it as I was the first 350 times. But if anybody heard it, those two things tying together, I think is just. If I heard that, I would think it was a great story. And to me, it really happened. So it's not. I didn't write that for fun, but yeah, there it is. There's the meat and potatoes of my end of the podcast for everyone. That was my experience in Johnson City in the '90s, and I have yet to come across anyone that I can kind of bounce a similar experience off in that area. I've since joined a couple like groups local to JC, but what are the odds? It's few and far between. Well, that's what I have for you. Sawblade and the UFO and Shasta, who I continue to look for because she would, finding her may make the memory less credible, but the longer I go and not find her, kind of.
I wonder if she remembers.
Well,
I wonder if she would remember. That'd be crazy.
I don't think she's real.
You don't think she's real?
Yeah, I think that was an implanted memory that they had given me.
I remember the name. I just don't. Like, I remember the name. I just don't remember her. Well, now that you've explained that she didn't go to school with us, because that's what I was picturing when you wrote me her name. Like, I was like, I was like, that, I was like, that does sound familiar, but I don't remember her going to school with us. Well, now that makes sense. If she was homeschooled, she wouldn't have went to school with us, but she could have been playing with us outside,
I mean, maybe,
so,
but
that sounds familiar.
I have no memory of her ever being in any group of kids anywhere, seeing her. Like, I remember the guy
I remember playing with her, but
no, I remember the guy that lived in that apartment. The guy that lived there, because we used to run by his house every day, and I don't know why, but we'd call him Mr. Egghead, and he'd yell at us for hitting his fence. And
so
I remember that guy, and I never remember her right there in that building. And it's just, I'm telling you, I get the chills here and telling it. Other people are probably gonna hear it and be like, whatever, it's fucking crazy. Maybe I'm old enough where I don't give a shit and what people think.
Right, neither do I anymore.
Not at all.
I used to care too much what people thought. Now I don't give a shit at all. It comes with age. It definitely comes with age.
That's a gift. If you're lucky enough to grow to this age.
Yes, if you can grow out of not giving a shit what people think, you met a peak age, my friends. You met a peak age.
Welcome to not giving a shit.
Welcome to not giving a shit. What people think about you, yep.
So do you have anything else you'd like to add to Johnson City?
No, I just had those things written down. I just set up the stories better. Next time I'll set the stories up better. But yeah, I've never done anything like this, so.
I hope everybody has gotten something from this. I'm gonna just hang around after this. I'm gonna kick off the podcast in closing. I'd love to hear feedback. As I always say, I don't know if there will be, but that was the Caveman podcast. Nikki and Ken, we were talking about Johnson City in the 1990s to early 2000s and some time frames outside of that. It was largely paranormal. You've heard the stories if you've listened to this point, and that's all we have. Thanks for listening. Cheerio.